Yes, I would like to say greetings to you in the best of salutations. And in that salutation, um, it consists of prayer, power, peace, patience, and prosperity. Just want to talk about a little bit about working or work on self when it comes to one's work ethics. Ethics is associated with one moral principles that governs your behavior or conducting a particular activity. Al Manzou said you can teach people other languages, but you can't teach them how to govern, that they must learn for themselves. What I mean by govern, I mean that which we consume and do on a daily basis. And one thing I realize when it comes to that which we do on a daily basis, it is associated with time equals task. There was a survey that was given in regards to students of matriculation learning, and there are different ethnic groups, and the ethnic group that spend less time studying their lessons. I mean, spend more time studying their lessons and less time on video games. They became more successive in their academics, academically. Yes. And I realized that the best project that one can work on is him or herself. So, how do you become a master of anything? Is that you become proficient at what you do. We know that in this American society, there are many labor unions, steel workers, American Federal Teachers, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Communication, Warehouse Carpenters, Airspace, Fraternal Order, Police, and Firefighters. It is a association, and you must pay into that association, which makes you to become a member, and your job will be, it will be your job to protect you from any act that is deemed to be unjust. Because what's most important is one wants to work at a job, whereas that it is not a dead end job, but want to work at a job whereas that there is room for growth, there's room for advancement in that job, and your rights need to be protected. So, if that be the case, when we're talking about labor, if you look at it from a biological point of view, we see that women who who are in labor pain, they are laboring to give birth to a child. However, in laboring or in the development of that, in the evolving development of that child, he or she is protected inside the mother. But yet, if the mother, in the environment in which she is in, and if she's under a stressful environment, more than likely that stressful environment will be imprinted on the mind of the child. And then the child comes out in another stressful environment. So the child will has to make certain uh, changes in his or her growth and development, and the struggle of not trying to let the outside influence of the stressful environment to get the best of their thinking or of their mind, and even what they experience and what they see. Yes. So he or she is laboring not to allow the stressful environment and the stressful conditions to get the best of him or her. Yes. So I realize that we are here to be productive human beings. Yes. We are here to be productive. And in that productivity, we as human beings, for the most part, always look for the end result, that which we are a with that which has been produced. But that which we call God or Creator sees the potential. So we're all here not only to be productive, but to reach our full potential. Yes. And reaching that full potential when it comes to the human soul is to move from sympathy to empathy. So what does that mean now? I mean this in this wise. The sympathy is not to reflect callousness or carelessness. Yes. And then we can have some sense of feelings of what another person is going through as a human being, as a human soul. So if we want to labor, may we labor that we can put people in a better position and create a more healthy environment. And in creating a healthy environment, that we will minimize the stress, and increase in the serenity and increase in the peace. So this is what we should be laboring for. This is what we should connect with. And this is what we should be a part of. Now, there was something that I was reading in a book called The Deindustrialization of America. He defined deindustrialization is meant by a widespread of systematic disinvestment in the nation's basic productive capacity. Now, I realize that if an individual, when it comes to one's faculty, because we're trying to establish the human person, as we labor in establishing the human person and creating an environment of serenity, and rather than an environment of stress, that if one, the faculty, I must say, that has been given to us is the faculty to be able to reason, to reason with one another. And when we learn to reason for one another, reason with one another in the best of ways, then we have a better of how to have a better understanding of how to deal and relate and interact with one another in the best of ways. But when we're unable to reason with one another, then we realize that there is some delusional, something that is delusional that is taking place. And also what is taking place is we're dealing with someone who is mentally deranged. And when one is mentally deranged, he or she, when it comes to his mental capacity, has become mentally incapacitated because he or she have not yet learned to reason with one another. And when he or she is not, when we have not yet learned to reason with one another, we create a stressful environment, as opposed to of an environment that is peaceful, or environment that is about serenity. So if there is a laboring that is going on, it is a laboring to try to create an environment that is about serenity rather than an environment that is less stressful. Now, if you do not have the means of accessibility to acquire what is called economic wealth, as people call it, concentrated poverty, or you live in abject poverty, If you don't have those things, then that would make you to become what? Stressful. Huh? You become stressful because you don't have the accessibility and the means to get out of the poverty that you are in. So when we're talking about this Labor Day, as we call it, when it comes to that which there was one moral principles, that governs one's behavior and conducting one's activity, it is designed to labor for an environment and even advocate for it in the best of ways, that an environment that is conducive for growth and development, that is peaceful and that is serene, as opposed to one that is stressful. Yes. And we do not want to put families at risk, communities at risk, when they struggle every day. The working class people, I don't care if they are laborers, I don't care if they're janitors, I don't care whatever you want to label them, they are trying to make a living for their family. They are trying to create stability. But when they are unable to create and make a living for their family, the community becomes run down, and then therefore the home becomes broken down, and the family becomes disoriented and disillusioned, and therefore discombobulated and don't know what they do. So therefore it leads for a what is called a yes. And in that underground economy, it deals with what is called drugs. Yes, it deals what is called drugs, the underground economy. Yes. So because they know that they do not want to see their family in a situation because it hurts them so much. They don't want to see their family in a stressful situation because it hurts them. So I always say that's why it's important to promote the value of self-worth. So I say in this wise, in closing, it's going to be brief, that when it comes to this Labor Day, laboring in the field of life transitional endeavors, do your best to make an impact wherever you go that will affect and change the lives of others, that it may change their course of action. And hopefully someone else will come about and change their course of action. And when we keep intervening in the affairs of each other, when it comes to changing their course of action, changing their mindset, changing their mentality, changing their attitude to a point that they will be about advocating for an environment that is peaceful, an environment that is about serenity, as opposed to an environment that is unhealthy and stressful. Politically, economically, socially, educationally, religiously, spiritually, academically, that we create this environment of peace and stability in this abundance of all of creation. Because any war that is happening, it is of humans at odds and at war with one another. It is a symptom that they're still at an animalistic instinct. It is a symptom that they have not yet learned to reason one with another. We're all born equal. It's just a matter in the way in which we use our faculties. So I say this in this wise. May we continue to labor and create an environment of serenity rather than an environment of stress. Because social stress leads to mental pain, and mental pain leads to physical harm. Until the next time, get to the gift of social literacy, Common Humanity Mission, website chumanity.org. Yes, Common Humanity Mission. If you want to donate, chumanity.org. Until the next time, talk to you.